Hello and welcome to Film Pro Productivity, the podcast that helps film professionals and other creatives to live a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson and this is episode 31, Why It's Okay to Give Up. If you Google why you should give up on stuff, you'll get 1,000 hits that say the exact opposite. The message is strong and positive and seemingly sensible. It says, never give up. But this is not a black and white issue. There's nuance here. You've already caught the episode title, and I say, let's just wait a second here and talk about this. I mentioned in the last show that I'm waving the white flag and giving up on my passion for filmmaking, and that is, by that I mean directing and producing films, which I've been doing for about 11 years, as frankly I've just had enough. The amount of time and energy and money I've given to other people's projects on which I've been invited, manipulated or otherwise drawn into, and on which I have been treated very poorly, has gotten ridiculous. And many of these projects have never even seen the light of day, incidentally. And my own projects have been fewer and further between and have regularly been short-circuited as I've been let down by many of those people that I invite on and put faith in, to the point where I find myself again and again financially, mentally and creatively spent and no further forward for the effort. To end this tiny little rant, I must also mention the complete waste of time that goes with interacting with the funding bodies in the UK. But that's going to get a whole episode to itself, probably in season 3, so I'll leave it till then. In short, I'll say though that following that path is a death to creativity. And I'll frame those statements by saying that I'm very passionate about filmmaking. I have been for the whole time I've been doing it, and making stuff that matters or is creatively interesting or fun or entertaining or all of the above is important to me. I've been passionate about it for years, and it's been my main creative and probably financial drive for at least the last 10. But that passion has cost me dearly. I've got nothing much to show for it. A lot of awards, yes, but in the grand scheme of things, and here's something nobody talks about, seriously folks, those awards mean nothing at all. The people that matter, the people in the sense of that are able to employ me perhaps as a director or who are able to fund me, do not care about the awards that get won. They don't care. They mean absolutely nothing. I've worked with some great people though, and I have had some fun along the way and some creatively rewarding experiences, and I'm certainly proud of many of my films, but when looked at in the cold light of day, the bad experiences far outweigh the good. I've given up on a few friendships too, because some people are just too abrasive to my life. Not having these people, no matter how talented they are or how long I've known them, not having them in my life far exceeds the benefits I ever had from having them in there. Every day I breathe a sigh of relief as I can be in control without fear of the phone call that will maneuver my time and energy and wallet into someone else's dreams and ambitions. Never giving up is romanticised in today's culture, especially for creatives. But making the decision to give up on things or on people in order to get yourself back on track is essential and often absolutely the right thing to do. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Seneca. Time and again, I talk here about increasing our self-awareness, of working on your life and career at the same time that you find yourself living and working in it. Self-analysis, though, is a great weakness of the creative, as romanticising our work often blinds us to truths that would enable us to move on. It stops us from finding happiness and leads us into a headspace where we are no longer in control, frozen in a an inability to let go because we fear we might be perceived by others, or perhaps in ourselves, in fact, as failures. And this is an extremely damaging place to be. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, "It's never too late to become who you want to be. If you want to live a life that you're proud of, and if you find that you're not, I hope that you have the strength to start over." So I gave up on my filmmaking. Yeah, I did. Or at least I can say that I'm certainly taking a holiday from it. Maybe in a couple of years things will change. But how's that benefited me? I'll tell you how. By not thinking about making films, by not looking at the next bit of equipment, by not watching YouTube videos on how to improve what I do, by not reading books on the subject, by not trying to coordinate projects, by not filmmaking, I give myself time and energy and money that I can put elsewhere. My path is not right now that of a filmmaker. My path is perhaps right now that of a podcaster or a fight director, but it's not a filmmaker. It's a choice. Lara Rutherford Morrison wrote an article for bustle.com, which I'll link to in the show notes, called 8 Times That Giving Up Might Actually Be a Good Thing. And she says, if you know in your heart that something is not going to work out, if you don't want a thing or person anymore, if pursuing your goal is making you really, really unhappy, if the only reason that you haven't quit already is because you're worried about what other people will think, if the only reason that you're sticking with it is because you don't know who you are without it, if pursuing this path or staying with this person is preventing you from going down a road that would make you happier, if your inability to accomplish your goal is making you hate yourself, or if the idea of giving up floods you with relief, then maybe it's time you let go of that particular goal or dream or project or person and give up on it. She goes on to say that this doesn't always make you a bad person either, or a failure, or a deserter, or whatever bad thing you've been telling yourself. Sometimes giving up means that you are someone who is mature enough to know when to cut your losses and move on. Someone who has the bravery to protect their mental health. Someone who is willing to take the risk of changing course. And I'm not saying that when you hit a bump that you shouldn't persevere, hit a bump in whatever it is you're driving towards, that you shouldn't persevere, but I wanted to introduce to you today the possibility of a new way of thinking. If you're really considering all your options when you're working on something, then giving up has got to be one of them. And yes, sometimes that might mean giving up on a dream or a relationship or something else, but that's life. It's not the end of the world. I think what I'm trying to say here is that we all have something in us that allows us to dream big, but that we can get caught up in the vision or the feel of that dream, and that in turn can stop us from seeing the bigger picture and stop us from re-evaluating our goal or our dream. It's a positive mindset trap that stops us from proceeding and succeeding with our own goals. Your call to action today is to take this opportunity to reevaluate your own situation, your dreams and your relationships, and to seriously consider giving up on something or someone that's holding you back. I hope that you've found today's topic interesting and that it's opened up your mind to some possibilities that you hadn't previously considered. And I'm going to end this because I think I'm running over a little bit, but I'm still planning a crowdfunder, I'd just like to say here, to pay for year 2 of this podcast, and I'll have to run it soon because I'm going to have to pay for stuff. So watch out for that one in the next few weeks and help me if you can. And also, if you're listening to the show, could you perhaps take a screen grab of it while you're doing that and put it up in social networking? This spreading the word really, really helps what I'm trying to do here. But I'm going to end today with the words of Napoleon Hill, who said, "When defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound. Rebuild those plans and set sail once more toward your coveted goal. And Lao Tzu has a quote which is very relevant here as well, which I've got somewhere on my screen. Lao Tzu says, "New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings." So bear that in mind as you take on the call to action. For now, though, take control of your own destiny. Keep on shooting. Give up on something or someone that's been holding you back. And join me next time for Film Pro Productivity. The music that you can hear right now is Adventures by Ehimitsu. You can view the show notes for this episode on the official website filmproproductivity.com. You can also follow my personal account on Twitter and Instagram at fight_director, or follow the show on Twitter at FilmProProdPod or on Facebook at FilmProProductivity. Please, please, please support the show by subscribing, spreading the word, and leaving an awesome review.